Oh, neither of us have a Red Bull. They were struggling. What the bleeping bleep bleep bleep. Welcome back to episode 9 of Drive Like a Girl.
Back for another episode. Have you missed us?
Yes, you have. They must have done, because we've got a big old Ramo episode to catch you up on.
Two major races, in my opinion. It's been very good, very
They've
fun.
been nuts.
Yeah.
But firstly, Jess,
how have I been?
How did you know I was going to ask you that?
Because this is what we do, isn't it? Well, I can't lie, I'm stressed. Yeah. You know, work is stressful.
It's a crazy time right now.
Yeah, it's election, so it's just been really busy.
It's made mine the opposite. I'm like,
yeah.
got nothing to do now.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Joking.
You have loads to do.
I have loads to do. But that is interesting.
No, it's interesting and it's fun, and I'm really excited, and I'm excited for obviously Thursday and Friday. Probably be dead by Friday, but
Yeah.
I am excited, but it's just a lot. It's just a lot right now at work, so I'm stressed. But F1's been really making me feel better. I just think about F1. I look at F1. I take my mind off work. It sounds so cringe, but like it's actually.
It's exciting to have a hobby.
Thing. Yeah, literally. Never thought I would have a hobby, ever.
No. And the Euros are happening right now. Have you been?
Yes.
I know it's another sport.
Oh my goodness.
like-
Did you watch it?
We watched yesterday's, because I didn't watch the Grand Prix live, so I came back and watched it after, and I started it basically just before the football, and I had on the TV the Austrian Grand Prix, and then I had on the laptop the football.
Did you?
Yeah, and
How did you concentrate with
So we
both?
didn't have sound on for the football,
Right.
So it was just like watching. I felt like our boyfriends when we're watching a film and they've got like the football on their phones.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like the most annoying thing.
yeah, and I was like, we've turned into boys. I've
We
turned into
literally
a
have.
man. So we didn't have any sound on. But like the critical, like the crazy. If you watched yesterday's race, the crazy critical moment right at the end, at that exact moment, England scored the goal that was taken away.
Oh, right.
So I literally went, "Oh my God, Paige, we scored a goal!" And she was like, "Don't look down there, don't look," because she'd literally watched it live, so she watched it again. With me.
Right.
So she already knew everything that was happening, and I was like, "We scored!" And I was like, "Pay attention to the track," and then it was all over. And then I was
Yeah.
like, "Wait, where did that goal go?"
Yeah.
So yeah,
It was crazy. And I had my head in my hands and I was like, this is it. But then
so embarrassing.
something came over me and I just thought, I'm just going to manifest this. Look, I'm not saying we are the reason why we got through to next stages, but I think we might, like I might be the reason, because I sat there and I wasn't saying, I didn't say it out loud, just in my head. I just thought, we will win. We will win. England will win. We will win. Over again. Literally a minute and we had that goal.
No
which
way.
took us to extra time, which got us to that second goal, and we won. Just saying, look, I'm not
It's
saying,
all
I'm not
Jess.
putting out there.
Southgate.
Okay, but Southgate, you got me to thank. But anyway.
Yeah, well, thank you, Jess.
Yeah, no worries.
But I've got another update.
Oh yes,
I
you
wore
went to
it
see
specially.
Taylor Swift.
Woo.
That was crazy. You got to
If you're
tell them what
watching our
time you
YouTube.
woke up.
So we woke
Don't.
up.
I was not
up
included
at
in this.
5 a.m. and we got to Wembley at 7 a.m. to start queuing.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe that you did it. Because you said to me, you were like, I was like, what time are you leaving tomorrow? Oh, like 6? And I said, you're going to be up at the same time as me. No way is that going to happen. I thought I'd wake up and you'd all be dead asleep and I was going to be going, ha, ha, ha.
Oh.
I woke up and you were all awake, doing full glam, like at 5 a.m. in the morning. I couldn't believe it.
I know, we managed it. It was crazy. It was a crazy day. The queue was hot. People stampeded, which wasn't fun. But the actual concert was insane. I got this very expensive t-shirt to prove it.
How much was it?
The t-shirt was like 40 quid. It's very soft though. The t-shirt. I also bought... That's not the problem. I also bought a sweatshirt
How
We won't
much? 60
reveal how
quid?
much that was, yeah.
65?
Yeah,
Was that actually?
Yeah.
Because I said 60, 65, what one?
65.
Right.
So you could do the maths. But, yeah, this is actually softer than the sweatshirt. But the sweatshirt is
Sweatshirt.
cuter. I'd probably wear it more.
And the thing is, you never get... That's a memory.
That's a memory.
Every time you wear that shirt... I've got a Mumford & Sons shirt. Wear it to bed nearly every night. And every time I put it on,
You're
I
like,
think... I remember when I bought that.
so fun.
Well, anyway,
Thank you.
we've got some... so with Nigel Jr., we're still getting confused which one's which. I don't know how... Look, I'm sorry, honeys. But I forget... I just get mixed up sometimes.
Which one do you get first?
This is definitely... this is Nigel. That's Nigel Jr., 100%. So, Nigel's McLaren fan, like me.
And Nigel Jr.'s Ferrari today.
Yeah, and
like
if you're listening, we've got our teddies, as you know, with McLaren hat and a Ferrari hat on. So sponsor us, McLaren and Ferrari, because whoa.
Smashing it.
We're going to, what's the word? Recap the last two races.
Yeah. We're going to try
it's
and
a
do
lot.
a rundown.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot to fit in.
A lot's happened.
So we're going to try and go.
Can I just say, hallelujah, McLaren. Lando Norris is coming for Max. He is coming for him.
Yeah.
He's chasing him, and it's just
the
this
updates
is
that McLaren did,
great.
like
Mercedes,
for Miami, nuts.
Their cars just like whatever they're doing to their car, they're smashing it
Out
now.
of nowhere, suddenly they're in not in the running, but like
this
actually
is what George has been saying. He's like, they've been making changes. Maybe they're finally listening to Lewis. We don't know.
Listening to Lewis. Poor Lewis on the way out. I think they've dropped him.
Can we do a recap of who is the seats for next year? Do we know any? Has there been any more updates?
I think Stroll confirmed.
Yeah, Stroll and Alonso.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's been it.
I don't
actually.
think there's been like.
And that's not been shocking.
No,
No.
not a shock. It'd be a shock if Stroll was leaving.
Yeah, will that ever happen?
Lol.
Lol.
But you're going to run down Spain first, right?
Yes, so this was the
Yay.
Spanish Grand Prix.
I actually didn't watch it.
It was a... What? Okay.
I've since watched like highlights.
Right,
But I didn't watch
okay.
it live, so I'm excited
I
to get your
watched this
rundown.
all alone, so it was quite sad, but I enjoyed it, and it actually made me concentrate more, so I wrote down a lot, but I'll skip over some boring stuff maybe that I wrote. But Lando was in pole position, so
Woo!
when that happened in qualifying, I was like, yes, okay, this is going to be a good race. And was it just? Lando Norris was just... I made a TikTok and it said Lando Norris in the Spanish Grand Prix, and it was, what's that song? Is somebody gonna match my freak? Is somebody gonna match my nasty? And so yeah, I put how Lando Norris is serving for that Spanish Grand Prix. Go on the comments. Yeah, got a hate comment, didn't I?
From a little comments.
Oh, because I deleted it because it pissed me off. I just thought, no, I'm not. We don't blow up. We don't get hate. But I just thought, no, you're not gonna try and, you know, make me
belittle us.
Yeah, belittle. Yeah. He basically said, yeah, it was a man. He said, what, him just overtaking? Wow, like what a race! Like he just overtook. Honey bunny, if you actually watched it, okay, you'd understand. And the fact that he's getting so close to Max, which no other driver is doing right now. Max is flying ahead, and Lando is
right there.
Is coming for him.
And also, what a stupid bloody comment! Like, how many TikTok edits do you get? They're all like they could be the littlest, smallest things, and I'm like loving it, eating it up.
Yeah, why do you automatically think of like something bad to say? But anyway, I just I thought that was funny. So
also, I think it's got 200 likes, so the engagement
I guess
on that.
200 other people disagree. Anyway, so
you tell him, Jess.
Lando in pole. It started. Lando's going for it, but Max, he's coming for him. So Lando tries to kind of, he's focusing on Max at this point. And as they turn round the first corner, I put Lando tried to swerve over to Max, but it didn't work, and they were alongside each other just before turn 1. Max was on the inside, but George went around the outside as they both went around the first turn and overtook them both, and it just like shook the whole thing up.
That
in, like,
was
a couple of
quite
seconds.
funny because it was almost like they were too preoccupied with each other, and then George was like, hello.
Literally, and not to spoil what happened in Austria, but it's kind of like George is just waiting for the downfall of Max and Lando to get somewhere. So I thought that was quite funny. And it was just a crazy first turn, and then Lando ended up in P3. George was in P1. Max was in P2. So lap 3, Max went for it and overtook George, and he overtook him in the end. So we had 2 different leaders by lap 3, and Carlos was close. Oh, this is what I wanted to mention actually. Ferrari, they're having a few disagreements, I think.
Some ding dongs.
And
have you seen that video?
Yeah, and like in this
ding-dongs.
race, Carlos was annoyed that Leclerc was basically racing him and did something, and he was annoyed, but then it's kind of like, well, you are racing, like, I know.
I think there's underlying tensions, obviously, and it's just they're letting it get to it, which is sad because I think their relationship in the team is so funny, so hopefully that won't last. I think, honestly, it will sweeten once he leaves. I think it's just rough right now.
Yeah, definitely. But I think because the car isn't working and doing as well as they hoped, and they were doing quite well at the start, and now it's kind of going a bit downhill.
After Spain, Lando overtook Leclerc in the standings. So Leclerc was second, but now Lando's second. Yeah. Which is crazy.
So they actually did touch, and that's why Carlos got annoyed. So Carlos had to go wide, and they touched. And Carlos gained a place, but it was being looked into, and then nothing came of that. Valtteri Bottas overtook. I think I just wrote that down because I'm just like, it's funny when... it's just nice to see. It's nice to see when a Kick Sauber get somewhere.
Does something.
Yeah, literally. We saw 2 early pit stops by RB, Yuki and Joe, both 5 laps too early. And also, can we talk about Pierre and Ocon? They're not getting on. I don't think they've ever got on, to be honest. Each other. Yeah, and it's not going well, as you'll explain as well, though. Yeah, they're not getting on. They weren't in the Spanish Grand Prix either, so it's not looking too good. I've put here tyres, little backstory. Give tyres as much grip as long as you can. Play around with strategies with changing tyres later on in the race. I'm still wrapping my head around it, to be honest.
No, that makes sense. I think what you're like saying in that point is that the longer that you let the tyres last, so the later that you can pit stop, the later in the race you'll have newer tyres. So then those people that had pit stops earlier in the race, right, their new tyres are going to degrade because they're going to have longer in the race to make them last. Whereas if you let your first tyres last you as long as possible and leave the pit stop at the end, you can then have a pit stop and then be on fresh tyres and zoom past everyone else that's still on old ones. Yeah. So, but then that might not be the right strategy. You might want to do it earlier, get ahead of everyone really quickly, but then you're going to have to pit stop later again because your tyres will be degrading. And
Max had a moment round the corner and managed to save it. That happened in lap 13. And I think I wrote that down just because Max at the minute, he's obviously, like I said in the last episode, he's shitting himself. And someone commented on our YouTube saying, how could Max ever shit himself? Like, really? But I think he is.
He's feeling
like,
the pressure,
I
man.
actually think he's feeling the pressure 100%.
And you see it, he's blaming the car and the team more. And that is Max's big tell because he never blames himself. He will blame everything else.
And I think that doesn't help by having a team like Christian Horner who can't take blame. He can't take blame for his work, can't take blame for personal life. You're gonna have a Max who's gonna come back to bite you, mate. Yeah, and I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it at all. But yeah, he's having a few wobbly moments, definitely.
For sure. Literally, like the car is going.
Yes, yeah. So this was quite good actually. Lando Norris's team was trying to trick Mercedes on the radio to make George pit, and it actually worked. So then
Wait,
George,
how did they do that?
I should have written it down, but I think they said, like, to Lando, we need to pit, like, they're coming up to the pits and they were saying, like, we should, lap night 14 people were starting to pit a lot on the and change to medium tyres, but it was just a trick, so to make George pit. I don't know why, but it did work. So George pitted by lap 16, and because Lando didn't pit, it was kind of a question of, well, what's he gonna do now, because he would eventually needed to pit because George pitted. So I think it was like Max, George, Lando, and then George pitted, so it was Max, then Lando, and then Max pitted before Lando, so Lando is now in P1, but now Max has fresh tyres, so it was kind of just a bit like, well, what's going to happen here? How is he going to
visualising that was so
do this?
It was like, this person pitted and this person pitted, and I was like,
yeah, like,
my brain was like running
it was like everyone kept pitting, and it was a bit crazy. Hamilton and Carlos, they went through a bit of a chase. Hamilton was chasing Carlos, and they nearly touched left rear tyre, and it says he has more pace than the Ferrari. And then I put Hamilton done it lap 19, so he overtook the Ferrari car. So again, like we're saying, Mercedes upgrades.
Yeah,
I think they're working. I think it is working. Carlos wanted and I noticed this in Austria as well.
What, Carlos calling things in? Yeah, he does that.
He does, but it actually is just like, it genuinely was just good bit of racing from Hamilton. Like, this was a really good race for him, and I really enjoyed it, and it was so good to watch. And then afterwards, it's so annoying when you just hear on the radio, like, Carlos, like,
I think they try their luck.
I know, but it's like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Like,
what was he calling in?
They basically said Hamilton didn't give him enough space, like they always say.
Yeah.
So we're now on to lap 20. Strategy for Lando is not going well, and they can't pit now as he'll come out at P7. So I was like, what are they going to do? I think he was kind of stressing, the team was telling him, don't worry. But then it was box for Lando, and he came out 2.4 seconds behind Carlos into P6. And now everyone has pitted at this point, so all 20 drivers. And also last year there was no yellow flags or retires, and it was the same this time as well. So I think, is it an easy track? Is that a word to say? Would it be an easy track for that? I don't know. Now it was just, the chase was on for Lando at this point. He just pitted, came out so close to Carlos, and managed and was chasing him, and ended up overtaking him using DRS on the straight, and gained more on Max. So, and then I've put Lando's just focusing on a win, which is so fun and exciting. It means McLaren have hope. I've put Sergio's going downhill. He's making too many mistakes.
He absolutely is going downhill, and I don't know why they signed him on for another
I really
contract.
don't.
Another 2 years, but that's not right.
2 years is long as well. I thought that was kind of a shock. Like, it didn't shock me that he signed a contract, but when I saw it was 2 years, I was like,
well, I think it's 1 year actually, with a maybe second year, but after the 1 year, it's like we might let you go.
Right. So I've put lap 36 was a great bit of racing. George Russell and Lando Norris went for it, and Lando overtook George and took it back, and then Lando took it back again. So one was going in front, one was going in front. Like,
we need like a graphic
bit of,
slash for our YouTube viewers, obviously go check us out on YouTube. We need like some kind of
maybe
visual.
We should do that. It was just when George Russell and Lando Norris were in a bit of a moment.
So is this for third?
This is for P2.
P2, shit.
Yes, so this is for P2. And Lando took it back again. So Lando went for it, overtook him. George took it back, Lando got it back. So now Lando's in P2. Max, sadly though, is way ahead of Lando. But Lando is starting to lap people. Max pitted for softs, and it was their game from the start to come out in P3. Hamilton took over Carlos. Lando pitted lap 48. But it was a bit slow, nearly got overtaken by Mercedes, but came out at P2, so it worked out in their favour in the end. And now, again, because he's pitted and now on even fresher tyres, the same as Max, the chase was on again.
You can speed oof.
But Lewis took over George, so that was P3.
Oh yeah.
So I was quite excited about this. I was happy that it was Lewis who overtook.
Yeah, you know what? We haven't seen him a lot.
No, it was good to see. This race was really good for Lewis, yeah. Something just about the other drivers for once. Alex Albon went onto the gravel as he was chasing Yuki, but got back onto the track. Seems to be the only thing that went off track that whole race.
That was the only thing?
Yeah,
just
that was
Alex?
the only thing, yeah, and that happened lap 60.
Keeping in the barrier. Can't say the same for Austria.
Yes. So this was now 5 laps to go, and Lando was really pushing. Max was about 4 seconds ahead, which again is very similar to what we're seeing. We're seeing this a lot. It's getting to the end of the race. Lando is up chasing for Max, and he just doesn't do it, unfortunately. Lando was 14 seconds ahead of Hamilton. So remember, Hamilton's at P6 at this point.
P3.
Lol. At P3 at this point, which I think is quite
big
crazy.
Gap.
Logan last.
Oh,
yeah.
poor baby.
Williams, not a good race for Williams. Alex was P18. Williams are in London on Wednesday.
I know,
Tuesday,
you
Wednesday.
sent me that.
But I'm working. I can't say. They're doing Williams, Alex Albon and Logan Sargent. I think they're both doing a talk, but on different days.
Oh. Cool.
In London, but I'm working when it's on, unfortunately. I would love to go.
I'm not here.
Yeah, you're away on holiday.
I'm on holiday again.
Oh, lucky for some, isn't it? And so, unfortunately, like I said, Lando, meh. This is literally...
That is so sad.
Couldn't do it again, but he's getting close, and I don't think he really put himself down on this race, and I really don't think he should, because it was a really fun race, and it wasn't like Max was in P1 the whole time. There was a lot of diversity against the team. But yeah, this was the 3rd year running for Max to win. And Hamilton got his first podium of the season, and we really like that. Again, check out the TikToks. I made a lovely little cute video of Lewis. We loved Lewis. Showed the love for our...
We love Lewis. Did you see the after race interview for that with the 3 podium people on the couch?
What, and they were laughing?
Yeah, they were laughing at Lando, and like the interviewer asked Lando a question like, "Do you think you were in the wrong?" And Lando was like, I don't know what they were in reference to. You know what it would be a reference to? But Lando was like, "Oh, no, I don't think I did anything wrong. And then both Lewis and Max were literally like giggling and laughing at him.
Yeah.
And then Lando was like, "What? No, I don't think I did anything wrong." What?
But everyone's saying
so
it's good to see Max and Lewis getting on.
Max and Lewis?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is nice. You know, I honestly think it is nice to see them getting on. I mean, like, it is nice to see friendships build. I personally like that over hatred and drama, but then I guess hatred and drama is tea.
I love tea.
I love tea. But yeah, it was a really interesting race, and we're very happy for Lewis.
Yeah.
Happy to see him up there.
Feels like ages ago, and it was like 2 weeks ago, so sorry for that.
It was 1 week ago. Because it was like one weekend straight after the other.
Oh shit. It feels
Time
like...
flies.
Yeah, it feels like ages ago.
Yeah, it does. Honestly, after like one race goes, you like forget what happens after.
Yeah.
What the heck? Well, thank you, Jess.
That's alright.
I've forgotten so much.
Forgotten? You got it written down, honey.
No, I'd forgotten so much about that race.
Oh, that race. Well, there you go. Look, there's your reminder, everyone. Just a reminder of how great it was.
Okay. Shall I jump
turn.
into Austria?
Yeah.
Okay. This race happened yesterday, so I have a bit more top of mind.
fresh brain. But there's a lot of similarities.
A lot.
When I was reading that out, I
You were
could have
thinking,
compared a lot of stuff.
We could do well now when I walk through things. Let's see what's similar.
Yeah, let's see.
I feel like a pregnant lady because I've been
Pregnant
slowly
lady?
inching away. I would just say,
Yeah.
did you know that Austria is a really, really short track?
I didn't know that.
Really short.
It doesn't
track.
look it.
It's not the shortest. Do you know what it is? Here's
What?
a little mini quiz for you. Do you know what it is? Go on, guess. The shortest track.
Wasn't it the one like a couple ones ago?
Yeah, it wasn't long ago.
The Canadian.
No.
What was
It was Monaco is the shortest.
Oh yeah.
At
That should have been
3.337
obvious.
kilometres. But there's 18 corners or whatever.
Don't you think this track looked really wide?
Yeah, it was super wide in comparison to Monaco.
Yeah.
But it's not far off in terms of length. So Austria's only 4.3 kilometres. So it's really, really short. And that's why, and I thought it was important to say that at the beginning, even though I was going to say it probably later. But it's at the top of my mind because did you notice they were all on top of each other? And they were constantly in each other's way. Especially towards the end, we're seeing
A lot more of
Max
it.
and Lando driving, but weaving between people and trying to get
Yes, I
past,
did
and they're all
notice
in their
that.
way.
Yeah.
And Max was really getting frustrated at one point because everyone was in front of him rather than behind him, and he can ignore them. He's now having to
but doesn't that happen every race?
No, because some of the tracks are way longer. But because the
Right.
laps of these, so basically the way that they work out the number of laps that they do is that every race has to be 305 kilometers long.
Right.
No matter what. So they divide 305 kilometers by the length of the track to get the number of laps.
Right.
And that makes it really short. So while you've got people at the back, and then you've got the people at the front literally lapping them, and then they're all in their way. And I thought it was so interesting because it looked really busy and crowded and trafficky, because obviously they've got to let them pass. So they're letting them pass, but they're there, so it's it's not a clear track.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really interesting.
No,
but
it
a little
is, yeah.
factoid to start it off. But Max was in pole position
Yeah.
with Lando second and then George third. Deja vu much?
Yeah, literally.
So that's how we started off after qualifying. The race goes. Vroom, zoom ahead. The first notable thing that happens is poor baby Charles. Honestly, we just mentioned Monaco, and since his big win at Monaco, it's been absolutely downhill. Oh, I can't for the poor boy. I mean, so sorry. But that really wasn't his fault. So he was trapped between...
Whose fault was it?
I think it was it was definitely Oscar's. It was Oscar's fault. But then
sorry.
Oscar says he didn't. So Charles was trapped between Oscar and Perez was on the inside line, and then Oscar was on the outside. Charles was coming up in the middle, and Oscar didn't realise that Perez was on the inside line, so Oscar came in, didn't know that Charles couldn't move anywhere else, and then banged.
Yeah, so it's
Bang
not
Charles.
his fault.
Yeah, but he should be looking, and that is a very congested moment.
Whatever.
That first, as soon as you release.
Whatever. Charles has never done that before.
But yeah, Charles gets whacked.
It's not Charles, it's Charles.
Charles Leclerc. Yeah, but
I
think
always
you can
say it
Charles.
wrong. I feel really rude.
Why? What do you say?
Because he's probably listening. And he's probably
sorry.
thinking...
I'm
He's
sorry,
probably thinking, oh
Charles.
my god, Charles.
Charles. No, it's Charles.
Charles.
Yeah, but I think it's fine to say Charles. Charles
Sounds weird,
Leclerc.
doesn't it? Anyway.
But he got whacked by Piastri, and he had front wing damage, so he had to go straight in the pits and get that completely changed out.
Boom.
So he was right down at the bottom from the off, and then he was just fighting his way back up
again.
constantly. Here we go again. I know, it was sad to see. Really, really sad to see, but we move. Lewis was then immediately under investigation for something that he did in turn 1. He basically went into the pits to get his tyre fixed.
What happened to his tyre?
He got into a kerfuffle with Sainz. They collided.
There they go again.
There they go again.
And they did in the Spanish Grand Prix.
we're seeing
What is going on?
a sprinkling of rivalries here. Similar things
Yeah.
keep popping up. I think it's because these are the people that are fighting for the same positions every time. They're next to each other every time.
Yeah.
So Lewis and Sainz collided. Lewis went into the pit to get his tyre changed, but he crossed the white line
Yeah,
barrier
saw that.
of the pit.
So that's a new rule I learned.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
I knew that
you
he
have
couldn't.
to be within the line when you're
Yeah.
going in the pit.
I didn't know that entry.
Is
I
it
knew
because-
exit, but not
Why?
entry.
Yeah, it was new rule.
I don't know why.
That
I
I
did
learnt,
Google
not that
it,
it's
but
a
it
new
just
rule.
is what it is. I think he got a 5-second penalty for that. So peak for Lewis, but he was like, "Hold my hands up, okay, I did that."
Yeah, he said sorry,
He
guys.
was like,
That was my
"My
fault,
bad."
guys.
Piastri and Perez. I am like kind of trying to zoom through these other people's dramas to get to the main one, but here we are. Piastri and Perez. Piastri versus Perez goes round the outside and smoothly overtakes Perez, who is forced the long way round.
McLaren overtaking Red Bull.
I
Sorry.
know.
You can't blame the car as well, Sergio. Because your
No.
teammates, look at him. You're just a shit driver.
No, it was a good overtake as well because Piastri went round the outside and was along next to him for so long, but just a little nice smooth overtake there. Alonso, fucking hell.
Did you see his TikTok?
What? No.
That actually made me laugh. Normally he doesn't make me
No,
laugh.
I think he's
I don't know
quite-
why I have a vendetta against him.
I think he switched on to TikTok, you know.
Oh my
his
god,
social
yeah,
media
yeah,
manager
yeah.
is.
Well, yeah. And he like pretended, because you know how when people prop up their phones, press record and then they cut it to obviously miss out them propping up their phone, pressing record, walking away from the
Yeah,
camera,
the millennial
and like
pause.
I don't know, riding their bike along this
yeah,
clip,
yeah.
because obviously that would make no sense, and he didn't cut out the bit when he propped up his phone, pressed play, and then like went
Walked
back
off.
and like walked in like a really like, I'm just being cool and like put a filter on it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you need to get it up, because I swear when I
get
try
the
and
vibe,
explain
get the vibe,
things,
no, I
it
get the
doesn't
vibe.
make sense.
What was
but-
it? What was the caption of it? Like, what was the like?
Oh, I
Prince-
can't remember, but it was funny. It was funny. It made me
I believe
laugh.
it. I think he is really funny on TikTok, but on the track he's brutal, and I think he's lost it a bit. You know,
I don't
he started
see
off.
much of him though.
Yeah, he started off really well, I think, like the season. But now he's had a rough few races and he's absolutely gone downhill, and I think he's really struggling back up. But this race, he made a boo-boo. He went right into the right side of Zhou Guanyu on lap 20, got a 10-second penalty for it because he forced Zhou off. So
Yeah,
he
poor
smashed him
Zhou.
and forced him off
Joe
the track.
does nothing wrong to you, people.
He did not deserve that.
He is the sweetest soul on this earth.
He did not deserve that at all.
Disgusting behaviour.
But Alonso did get a 10-second penalty for it. And he came out super fast, kind of like out of nowhere. I mean, Joe was driving Danny Rick, and then Alonso comes zooming up and forced Joe out, like off the track, and he went straight into the back right-hand wheel of his. Lap 32, this is when, you right?
No, look, long day. It's been a long day.
Sorry.
It's nothing to do with you, it's me.
I can't.
You're not boring, don't worry.
So lap 32, here we go again. Alpines can't be best friends. Never will be.
No. But
Ever
they did
again.
okay. They did the same kind of...
Yeah.
They were like up there. They were in the points.
Yeah, same old, honestly. So Gasly versus Ocon. So I've got the explanation down here. Let me try and read it out, rattle it off, see what happens. So they went wheel to wheel. Gasly tries to overtake inside, but Ocon doesn't let him.
Inside.
Inside. Every time they're going round the outside, me and Paige would be like, round the outside, round the outside. Every time. And now I can't get it out of my head. So they have this little thing. Ocon's like, ain't no way you're getting past
Yeah,
me.
not
But
happening.
Gasly technically is going faster than Ocon at this moment. And Gasly's like, team, let me
Come
go.
on.
I'm going faster. You've got to let me go in front.
Mm.
And this gets even worse when they're trying to overtake Alonso. And Ocon is trying to overtake Alonso. He can't do it. Gasly's literally back there like, let me at him. I'm going faster. I should be trying to overtake Alonso. The team's like, holds fire. Don't do that. We're not going to do that. Which is interesting because they just announced recently that they dropped Ocon. I don't know
Yeah.
if we talked about that, but yeah, Ocon's being dropped.
Yeah.
Peak, poor guy.
Yeah. Well.
But I'm glad that they're not, dropping him in thin air. Like, but so they were like, no, let's give him a go. Ocon eventually does overtake Alonso, and then Gasly eventually does also overtake Alonso. But then they can't just, have a good time. They both overtake Alonso. They go wheel to wheel, and they're both trying to overtake each other. Oh, yeah, there was some contact, and there was a slow-mo. You could see a bit of one of the cars. I don't know which one's. A bit of carbon fibre flew off.
Honestly, guys.
Can't we all just
take it off the track?
take it home?
Seriously.
Someone needs to have an intervention with
peace
them.
and love.
Because it's history as well. It's like deep history. That they're like, because they used to be friends. They used to be besties as in like karting.
It's just history repeating itself.
It all leads back to karting. But yeah, so that's the Pierre and Ocon Alpine drama continued.
And at least they're not doing as bad as Williams. They could, do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to look at it like that.
Yeah.
So, everyone can say the downfall of Alpine, but
they're on the up.
It is a downfall.
Let's think of where they were in Bahrain. Absolutely rock bottom.
I think, they're okay.
Something going on for them. Now into the real tea, which is up front at the top.
Don't even start with me.
No spoilers.
No.
I mean, if you haven't watched
spoilers.
It though. But Max pits, and he has a slow pit. 6.5 seconds. They couldn't get the left rear wheel off. They were struggling. I bet he was sat in the car like, what the bleep. I don't know if he's like that, but...
No, he's probably calm and collected.
Not, yeah.
It's all in his head.
Yeah, probably. But, like, that must feel so long.
Oh, yeah.
So long.
I would be so impatient. I'd literally be like, oh, don't fuck up.
I know. And watching it, you're literally like...
Yeah.
But, yes, they had a really slow pit. This is lap 52. And... because they had a slow pit, Max comes out of the pit like really awkwardly, forcing Lando have to slow down, because Max had to suddenly release or like really badly come out of his pit, so kind of messed up Lando coming into the pit a bit. Then Max, we can see that he's growing a bit tense because he locks up, does a little swerve again, does a little whoops, and that pit stop really messed up his gap. So he did have a 7-second gap, and he's down to 1.7.
Yeah.
So Lando's only 1.7 seconds behind. So that's really messed up his strategy. Max is pissed again, like I mentioned right at the beginning, because like he's having to swerve past everyone. Alpines, Williams, Charles Leclerc back there. They're all getting in his way. I mean, they're not getting in his way. Obviously, they're letting him pass. But the fact it's all congested.
Too much for Max Verstappen.
Too much. Lando tries to overtake wide, like Oscar did with Sergio, but Max doesn't let him. Lando goes, Max is reacting to my moves. Like he says, he's like, Max saw me move and then he moved. I don't necessarily understand the
So is that
point
a
of
rule
that.
that you're not allowed to do? You're not allowed to when you're watching them, and if they try to...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it must be something specific. Like, I was wondering if, say, I thought this is what they said, but then I wasn't sure if basically what Lando is saying is that Max saw where Lando was going to move and then Max braked, which I think might have been what happened. And the brake then forces Lando, which, makes sense to me, but I don't really understand if it's not that, what that means.
So
because surely
bad.
you have to react to what people are doing around you.
Well, yeah, but yeah. Okay.
So I don't really understand, but Lando was really annoyed about that, and he said again later on, like, he has to stop doing that. That's really dangerous. He keeps reacting to my movements. He needs to stop doing it. It's dangerous. So I don't really know what that means, and I think it might be the whole braking situation, because that makes sense. Otherwise, I don't really understand. Someone explain me.
I've seen a lot of TikTok comments saying that Max is just quite a dangerous driver, and because he's having more pressure put on him. Would you say this is the most pressure that he's had on him in the last, let's say, 2 years?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know, but maybe it is. So if you think about it, maybe he's a bit too dangerous now because that pressure is coming.
This is not new though.
Is
And
it
I think I've
not?
seen like people commenting like Max will do anything to get that spot. And maybe that is dangerous. But this is not new. He did it with Lewis. He did it already. He's done it before with Charles. It's not new.
Yeah.
But I think that's right. I think when he feels the pressure, which is the same as blaming the team, he'll do anything. But those are actions, which I think are very telling. But I don't think his words necessarily match his like villain era. I think honestly, off the pitch, he does see the wider picture.
Yeah.
I think
He always seems so chill.
Yeah.
And so collected, and in post-race interviews, he's very like funny and la la la.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, and you've got to be
not
like that.
angry.
And I'm not like dissing him as a person at all. It's all peace and love. It's all jokes. But yeah, when you're being dangerous, I don't know, it does piss me off.
Yeah.
Like, and because I'm a McLaren fan,
You're like, absolutely
it
not.
actually like quite pissed me off. I was a bit like,
what you doing?
What you doing, honey? But anyway.
But then now we're on lap 59. Lando overtakes on the inside. He tries to overtake, and he does. But he's unable to slow down. His front wheels lock up, and he goes straight off the track.
Yeah.
So he does manage to do that overtake, but he can't turn because he's locked up. So he goes right off, which means he's forced to then give that position back to Max, which that is just what it is. Like he
can't do anything about that. There's no point getting annoyed about that.
Yeah, he did say Max forced me to go wide. I don't think I agree with that.
I don't agree with that.
I think like he locked up and went off.
Yeah, you saw it. You literally saw it when you saw from his helmet.
Yeah.
When you watched it back, yeah.
Lap 63. Lando slows down and Max goes off track to try and maintain his place. So Max is ahead, Lando slows down, Max goes off track, staying ahead of Lando. Lando is like, he needs to give me back that position because I was ahead at the apex. So basically, at that corner, with Lando slowing down, his nose goes ahead, and then Max naughtily goes off track to stay ahead, and Lando's like, I got ahead.
That's just not... Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that. I don't know if Lando got ahead enough, because it was like, but I guess obviously you're going to fight for that. Being in that position, you're going to be like, I was ahead, give me that place back. But I don't know. And then also it is weird that Max went fully off and didn't have to give the place back when Lando just did that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if like Lando was considered
obviously
to be ahead enough.
Yeah. There was probably a reason behind it, definitely.
Yeah. A bit of a grey area.
Yeah.
Lap 64. On the outside line, Max goes in towards Lando. They're wheel to wheel. Contact. Max hits. Max is on the outside. Max comes in. They're both going round on the outside line. Puncture for both of them. At first, we're like, major damage for Max. And then Lando has a puncture of his right rear tyre.
Oh, it was terrible to see.
It was really bad.
Oh, it was... Because you just know when you see it and the whole wheel was just like flapped off.
Oh my God, that was so embarrassing.
And I was
he
like,
was driving down the pit.
It was so slow.
But Max was crawling as well.
Yeah, so I honestly thought they were both going to have to... Yeah, I thought they were both out. And then all of a sudden Max got into the pit, not to like take your rundown, but he got into the pit so much quicker, and I was like literally staring at my phone like, where the hell is Lando?
Yeah,
like, where the hell is he? And he was just so slow coming into the pit.
Yeah.
And he called... I'm not telling you.
No, you go. Go.
He called it.
I know. Lando was just like, guys,
Done.
retire me. He was so defeated in that moment.
Yeah. I think he's just
it
like,
was really
nah,
sad
I'm
to
not
see.
going out there again. And...
There was like double contact. There was like the wheel Well, Max went right into the side of Lando, and then another contact again right into the wheel.
Yeah, I was
Unnecessary.
screaming. It was just like, and there's contact. I was like, oh my
God.
goodness me.
In lap 64, we are so close, and they have
both
fought so hard. And then in comes George.
Again,
And just
picking up
swoops
the
past
pieces.
the both of them.
Yeah.
Literally, like,
Bye. See you
woo!
later.
And then just to, like, drop the Lando v Max situation for a little bit, George is then zooming ahead, and Toto Wolff comes on the mic like, "You can win this, George, you can win this." And George literally goes, "Just let me fucking drive."
Oh.
And afterwards, skipping to the after race interviews, George was like, "Yeah, that was really annoying that Toto came on because that was so distracting."
That's like, it's like what you think, it's like a father and son relationship.
Yeah. And Toto obviously sounded so excited, and also you saw Toto smile because they kept zooming to him.
He never
in those
smiles.
last
I
laps.
haven't seen him smile like that in a while.
He never smiles recently, and he couldn't wipe it off his face, people. He literally couldn't even help it. He knew the cameras were there, and he was literally sat there like, you know, that kind of smile that you're like trying to not show.
But
it was
is it embarrassing that you
that
win?
he's that exciting.
No, that you win like a race like
Like
he
that.
wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was very like.
You got to take it when it comes.
I'm taking it. I picked up the pieces when it happened, and you know I'm happy. And it was his second race win, but then I couldn't help but think the whole time like, oh, is this really a celebration?
Yeah.
Like obviously it is, but I don't know. But I guess a win is a win.
A win is a win. Take
is
it.
a win.
But they were like all three of the people on the podium. Their post-race interviews were so interesting because none of them really could believe. I think George was like buzzed, obviously, but like all three of them were like, you know, well, that wouldn't have been, let's be honest, what it was going to be.
Yeah,
but here we are. Like Sainz was like, okay, like realistically, I was going to be fifth. And that's where we were expecting to be, but I'll take the podium.
Yeah.
And Piastri was like, you know, you can't help think in these situations, like, do I really deserve it? But, you know, I'll take it. Like, they were all in their post-race interviews, like, really, not pessimistic, but I think realistic.
And Max still got P5. And that just really pisses me off. It really pisses me off. No, love Max, but I know. The thing is as well, like we said earlier, they can't take responsibility. So obviously McLaren are like, that's 100% Max's fault. Obviously Red Bull are saying it's not Max's fault. But when you watch it back, and even the commentators were like, no, like we have to say that does look like it was Max's fault. And again, he, like you said earlier, he'll do anything to win. He'll be as dangerous as he wants to be, and unfortunately, you know, we've seen it before. These things happen.
He did get a 10-second penalty.
Do you know what it reminded? Yes, he did get a 10-second penalty. So we do know it's his fault 100%.
Yeah.
Well, the FIA think it is, and but do you know what it reminded me of? It's giving Michael Schumacher and the driver who died, Ayrton Senna.
Yeah.
Have you watched the Michael Schumacher documentary on Netflix? Because they touch on their conflict, and because obviously Michael Schumacher was quite new, whereas Ayrton Senna was like the top man, and all of a sudden Michael Schumacher's come out of nowhere, and it's just like getting so close to him, and they end up a lot of conflict, but it affects them more off the racetrack, and they're quite aggressive with each other, and Ayrton Senna would have like words with him, and it was like so patronising, and it was just like, and obviously that doesn't happen now, and Max and Lando aren't like this, but just the fact that that conflict that happened, I don't know, it just reminds me of that old time.
There's a lot of mirroring.
Racing.
I think history repeats
itself. It definitely. But I'm glad it doesn't affect the off.
Well, I don't know now, you know.
Well, we haven't seen. I haven't seen anything.
Lando's post-race interview was bad.
I didn't see it.
Oh, but you should watch it.
Oh my goodness.
He basically said, I've got some quotes.
What did he say?
I felt like I drove a good race. I just feel let down. I gave a fair, respectful battle. I did nothing wrong. He's the one that should say something. And then he said, I lost respect for my friend.
No, how
Yeah,
did I miss
basically.
that?
No, you should watch it. It's honestly
Ooh,
insane. And then, like,
goodness.
the
Oh no.
commentator then goes to Max straight after. So Lando said that he's going to lose some respect for you if you don't say something. How do you feel? And Max was just like, yeah, it was weird. You know, it was an
Weird?
awkward angle.
Why?
The
Yeah, but why
collision.
can't he just say?
He said,
Yeah,
we did a lot of
that's-
things wrong, i.e. Red Bull as a team. We did a lot of things wrong.
He said we.
He said we did a lot of things wrong, but I think that is a subtle blame at the team.
I don't necessarily think it's we, because it's nothing to do with the car.
Yeah,
and
but he's
they're
blaming
not
it
saying.
all on the
Yeah,
team.
I know, which is
I don't know what
annoying
he's
to
saying that
me.
they're
It's
doing,
annoying
though.
to me because it's not like the team principal's like, go on, hit him. Go on, do it. Go on, bit more, bit more.
Yeah, that's you in the
Like,
car and
no,
only
that's
you, really.
you, not we. But this is what we mean. I love Max off the track.
But this is what I mean, like, in that post-race interview, honestly, Max was never at one point, like...
Did he even
Angry.
seem, like, bothered?
I mean, he was, like...
Bad? Like,
No,
surely
he didn't
if
seem-
you're friends off of the track, surely there's a part of you that feels bad, no? Would you not just feel bad for your mate? It's tough.
It
It's
is
tough
tough.
out there.
I reckon he
I couldn't
does.
be an F1
I don't
driver,
know, though.
Jesus. It's hard work.
It is hard work. But that was the
That was
race.
good. Thanks, Sammy. That was good. I really enjoyed the race. It was fun.
Silverstone next.
Oh my god, this girl at work today said that her friend was like, I think I might have a spare ticket for Silverstone next weekend. Do you want to come? Anyway, right, rambling.
Right. Okay.
Bye guys.
Thanks
See you
for
in the
listening.
next one.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good week.